3 weeks after I sent the anonymous email, the company called an all-hands meeting. Every employee in the auditorium, executives on stage, serious faces. The CEO stood at the podium. As you know, Marcus Reynolds is no longer with the company. I want to address what happened and be transparent about our findings. Over the past 3 weeks, we conducted a thorough investigation into Marcus's role and contributions during his tenure here. What we discovered was deeply concerning. Marcus systematically misrepresented work done by his team members as his own. He claimed credit for projects he didn't develop. He presented innovations he didn't create. He built his reputation on other people's accomplishments. This is unacceptable. It violates our core values. It undermines trust, and it's fraud. Marcus's employment has been terminated. He will not receive severance. We're also pursuing legal action for the Innovation Leadership Award bonus he received for work he didn't do. I want to publicly apologize to the team members whose work was misattributed, particularly to David Chen, who developed most of the innovations Marcus claimed as his own, including the SmartSync platform. David, would you please stand? Every head in the auditorium turned toward me, hundreds of coworkers staring, some shocked, some angry they'd been fooled, some nodding in recognition they'd suspected. David developed SmartSync. David created the data optimization algorithms that improved our efficiency by 35%. David solved the authentication problems that had plagued us for months. David has been the driving force behind much of our product innovation for 3 years. And we failed to recognize that. We let someone else take credit. That ends today. David, effective immediately, you're promoted to VP of Product Development, Marcus's former position, with full authority, full compensation, and full credit for the work you've actually been doing. The auditorium exploded in applause. People I'd never met were cheering. Coworkers were giving me a standing ovation. I stood there in shock. I'd wanted Marcus exposed, wanted recognition, but I hadn't expected this. VP of Product Development, Marcus's job, the position he'd held while stealing my work. Now it was mine, actually mine, earned through the work I'd actually done. After the meeting, people swarmed me. Congratulations, handshakes, questions about how I'd exposed Marcus. I deflected most of it, stayed professional, didn't gloat. But inside, I was celebrating. Marcus was gone, his career destroyed, his reputation ruined, and I had everything he tried to steal from me. The transition was immediate. I moved into Marcus's office, now my office, took over his responsibilities, met with the executive team as a peer instead of a subordinate. The first thing I did was review every project in the department, identified other team members whose work had been misattributed, made sure they got proper credit, restructured how we documented contributions, implemented systems to prevent future credit theft. I also reviewed Marcus's compensation history. He'd been making $340,000 per year, plus bonuses, plus stock options, all based on work he'd stolen from me and others. My new compensation package, $360,000 base, plus equity, plus performance bonuses, plus back payment of bonuses Marcus had received for my SmartSync platform and other projects. Total recovery, $127,000 in back bonuses, money Marcus had been paid for my SmartSync platform and other projects. But the financial compensation wasn't the satisfying part. The satisfying part was Marcus's complete destruction. His LinkedIn profile disappeared. His professional reputation was ruined. Word spread in the industry that he'd been fired for fraud. No tech company would hire him. I heard through industry contacts that Marcus was trying to rebrand, claiming he'd been unfairly targeted by a disgruntled employee, trying to spin the narrative. But the evidence was public now. People knew. HR departments talked. Reference checks revealed the truth. Marcus Reynolds, former VP of Product Development, was unemployable in the industry he'd spent 15 years in. He tried to salvage something, started applying for mid-level management positions, got rejected, started applying for senior engineer roles, got rejected, eventually started applying for junior positions just to get back into tech, still couldn't get hired. The fraud label stuck. Nobody wanted someone who'd systematically stolen credit from their team. Last I heard, Marcus was working in retail management, a job that didn't require technical skills or references from tech companies, a job that paid maybe $60,000 a year, a fraction of what he'd been making while stealing my work. From $340,000 VP to $60,000 retail manager, because he'd built his entire career on fraud. Meanwhile, my career flourished. The VP promotion was just the beginning. With proper credit for my work, my reputation in the company skyrocketed. I was invited to speak at conferences, featured in industry publications, recognized as an innovation leader. The Innovation Leadership Award that Marcus had won rescinded, given to me instead, along with the $25,000 prize money Marcus had been forced to return. I used that money to take my team, the actual developers who'd been working under Marcus, to a celebration dinner, thanked them for their work, made sure they knew their contributions were valued. Some of them admitted they'd known Marcus was taking credit for my work, had wanted to speak up but feared retaliation. They apologized for staying silent. I didn't blame them. Marcus was their boss too. Speaking up could have cost them their jobs. They were trapped in the same system I had been. But now the system had changed. Now credit went to the people who actually did the work. Now fraud had consequences. 6 months after Marcus's termination, I received a LinkedIn message from Marcus. David, I know you're angry, but what you did destroyed my life. I have a family, kids, a mortgage. I can't find work because of the reputation damage. Was revenge really worth ruining my life? I read the message 3 times, considered responding, decided to reply. Marcus, you destroyed your life. For 3 years, you stole credit for work you didn't do. You built your career on fraud. You got bonuses for innovations you didn't create. You won an award for a platform I spent 18 months developing. I didn't destroy your reputation. I revealed the truth about your reputation. The destruction was always there. You just hid it well until someone finally exposed it. You have a family and mortgage? So do I. And for 3 years, you stole credit that should have led to promotions and bonuses that would have helped my family. You stole my career advancement. You stole opportunities that were rightfully mine. Now you're facing consequences. That's not revenge. That's accountability. Don't contact me again. I blocked him, never heard from him again.
2 years have passed since I exposed Marcus. 2 years since I sent that anonymous email that destroyed his career and launched mine. I'm still VP of Product Development, thriving in the role, leading a team of 40 engineers, developing products that generate millions in revenue, getting credit for the work I actually do. The difference between working under Marcus and working as VP is night and day. Under Marcus, I was invisible. My ideas were stolen. My contributions ignored. I was just a resource Marcus exploited. As VP, I'm recognized. My innovations are credited properly. My leadership is valued. I'm building a reputation based on actual merit, not stolen accomplishments. The company's innovation output has increased 60% since I took over. Not because I'm better at development than Marcus, I was always doing the development, but because the team isn't wasting time feeding Marcus's ego. We're focused on actual innovation instead of managing up to a fraudulent boss. Several team members have told me they almost left the company under Marcus, felt demoralized seeing their work credited to someone else, felt like their contributions didn't matter. Now they're engaged, motivated, proud of their work because they know they'll get credit for it. I've implemented strict attribution policies. Every project has clear documentation of who contributed what. Code commits are tracked. Design documents list actual authors. Presentations include slides crediting team members. No one can pull a Marcus anymore, not in my department. The policy has spread company-wide. Other departments adopted similar systems. The CEO made proper work attribution a core value, implemented penalties for managers who misappropriate team contributions. All because I exposed one fraud, one boss who thought he could steal credit indefinitely. Marcus tried to sue me. 6 months after his termination, he filed a lawsuit claiming I'd defamed him, that the allegations were false, that I'd destroyed his reputation maliciously. The company's legal team destroyed him in court, presented all the evidence, code commits, emails, documentation, testimony from team members, proof that everything I'd claimed was true. The judge dismissed the case, told Marcus, truth is an absolute defense to defamation. Mr. Chen presented extensive evidence proving you misappropriated work. You have no case. Marcus was ordered to pay the company's legal fees, another $35,000 he couldn't afford, another consequence of his fraud. I heard his wife divorced him. The financial stress plus the revelation of his fraud destroyed their marriage. She'd thought she was married to a successful tech executive. Turned out she was married to a fraud who'd lost everything. I felt a moment of sympathy. Then I remembered 3 years of stolen credit, 3 years of watching Marcus get bonuses and promotions for my work, 3 years of being invisible while he was celebrated. My sympathy disappeared. Marcus made his choices. He decided to steal credit instead of doing actual work. He decided to commit fraud instead of building legitimate skills. He decided to exploit his team instead of leading them properly. Now he's living with the consequences, and I refuse to feel guilty about exposing the truth. The industry has taken note. I'm regularly contacted by recruiters, offered positions at major tech companies, given opportunities Marcus would have killed for.
I'm staying at my current company. Loyalty matters to me. They promoted me when they learned the truth. They backed me against Marcus's lawsuit. They've given me the authority to build something real. But knowing I have options, knowing I'm valued, that's satisfying in ways I can't fully describe. I spoke at a tech conference last month. The topic was building innovation culture. I talked about the importance of proper attribution, about how credit theft destroys morale, about systems to ensure team members get recognized. During Q&A, someone asked, "Have you ever dealt with a situation where a leader took credit for teamwork?" "Yes," I said. "Early in my career, I had a boss who systematically took credit for my innovations. For 3 years, he presented my work as his own, won awards, got bonuses, advanced his career on work I'd done." "What did you do?" "I documented everything, built an irrefutable case. Then I exposed him. He was fired. I got his job, and I've spent the past 2 years building a culture where that can never happen again." The audience applauded. After my talk, several people approached me, shared their own stories of credit theft, asked for advice on handling similar situations. The advice I give is consistent. Document everything. Build evidence. Don't just complain, prove. Then, when you have undeniable proof, expose the fraud through proper channels. Marcus taught me that lesson, not intentionally, but effectively. Some people think I went too far, that I could have handled it quietly, confronted Marcus privately, given him a chance to make it right. But Marcus had 3 years to make it right, 3 years to give credit where it was due, 3 years to stop being a fraud. He chose to continue, chose to accept an Innovation Leadership Award for work he didn't do. That was his final chance. He blew it. I have 0 regrets about exposing him publicly, 0 regrets about the consequences he faced, 0 regrets about taking the position he'd held while stealing my work. Marcus was a fraud. Frauds deserve exposure. That's not revenge, it's justice. People ask if I worry about retaliation, if Marcus might try something, if I should have kept quiet for safety. No, Marcus is broken. Financially ruined, reputation destroyed, career over. He has nothing left to threaten me with. And even if he did, I'd make the same choice, because living under a boss who steals your work, watching him get recognition you earned, feeling invisible while someone else shines with your light, that's not sustainable. Eventually, you either expose the fraud or you leave. Those are the only options. I chose exposure. And I won. My career is better than Marcus's ever was, even at his peak, because my reputation is built on work I actually did. My accomplishments are real. My recognition is earned. Marcus's entire career was built on sand. One exposure, one investigation, and it all collapsed. That's the difference between real competence and stolen credit. Real competence survives scrutiny. Stolen credit disintegrates under examination. Would you destroy your boss's career if you discovered he'd been stealing credit for your work for 3 years? I did. Documented every project, built undeniable evidence, exposed him to executives, watched him get fired, sued, and blacklisted from the industry, took his job, got his salary, built a career on the work that was always mine, and I'd do it again without hesitation. Because some frauds are too harmful to ignore, some betrayals deserve exposure, and some people need to learn that stealing credit will destroy your career faster than any lack of talent ever could. Marcus learned that lesson the hard way. At age 45, working retail management for $60,000 a year while I thrive as VP making 6 figures. That's not revenge. That's accountability. That's justice. That's what happens when you build a career on fraud and someone finally tells the truth. Drop a comment with your platform of choice, like if you learned something new, share this post with friends, and subscribe for more ScrollTales drama.
My boss won an award for work I did. I exposed him, got his VP job. Company announcement. Marcus Reynolds wins Innovation Leadership Award for SmartSync platform.
my platform, 18 months of work, my code. For 3 years, Marcus took credit for everything I built. 27 projects, all claimed by him, all done by me. I'd been documenting, emails, code commits, proof he'd stolen credit for years. Sent anonymous email to CEO with all evidence. Next day, Marcus in 4-hour emergency meeting. 2 days later, called into CEO's office. Is it true Marcus stole credit for your work? Yes, I have proof. Showed everything. Code I wrote, emails I sent, Marcus contributed nothing. Investigation confirmed, Marcus was a fraud. Hadn't written code in 3 years. All hands meeting, CEO announced Marcus terminated. David Chan is promoted to VP of Product Development, Marcus's position. I got his job, $360,000 salary, $127,000 in back bonuses he'd received for my work. Marcus, blacklisted from tech, sued me, lost. Wife divorced him. Now works retail, making $60,000. From VP to retail manager because his career was built on fraud. 3 years of stolen credit equals career destroyed forever.